booze started becoming a factor then.
Yeah, booze sort of,
I think booze played a large role in like the next era of our existence. Like the whole Dads with No Face and Beast Fiend type era was just like soaked in alcohol.
Yeah, we were hopeless drunks.
We were like living like rock stars, but we didn't have like rock star status unless it was amongst the people that like were in our inner circle.
Yeah, there's like a few people who thought we were rock stars.
Yeah, God bless those people.
I know.
God bless you people.
So yeah, so we started up Dads with No Face. It was just me and Terry. We actually practiced for a long time.
It was good.
You know, before we played our show, and then we played this first show in Terry's basement. And it was pretty cool.
We had like a metallic drop sheet behind us. That was our effect.
It was amazing.
Me and Terry are not in tune with each other, but we do not care. It's going to sound really bad. This is called You Pal.
There was like 10 people there.
It was pretty cool, and it was awesome. It's like you don't understand the feeling you get, you know, playing live for people. Yeah, so we played that first show in Terry's basement, and that became sort of the standard for what we were going to do for the next decade.
Yeah. We'd like just get liquored right up before a show. Fucking, me and Blaise almost had a meltdown one day. Do you remember that? The Sherry Sharman house incident?
Oh man.
And you came over and like, I think you like slapped my face or like...
Yeah, Terry was a little bit late showing up for one of the shows.
I think showtime was like 8 or something, and like Blaise wanted me there at like 6:30, but I was like over at my girlfriend's house, like down the street, and like he showed up at like, I don't know, like 7-ish, just mad. But I was like drunk and I didn't know what was going on. Paul was with me. Paul was a terrible influence on me with the booze and liquor and stuff. So Paul, I know you're going to be watching this. You're like, we were like drinking buddies for like 4 years and it was great. It was great.
Ting Pan. This song is dedicated to Ting Pan.
Ting Pan.
We gotta write a song called Ting Pan. I'm no song artist or anything like that, and I do work with the Dads with No Face. I am their technical advisor. But when I have urges for songs,
let's go play the Ting Pan.
Especially a song called Ting Pan. We gotta make a song called Ting Pan, you guys, come on.
Let's go right now.
Let's go right now.
Yeah, we started making up all these songs and people were loving it, like Leather Boy and Bag and Bored Head. And
it was usually about just stupid stuff. It's like,
Bored
Head was like this little doll my dog used to chew on.
Bored Head, my friends, this is Bored Head. This is the epitome of the world today.
Then we moved down to my basement, which became the headquarters for like rock and roll.
It was the epicenter of everything we did.
The Bastard Bean Center for Performing Arts.
That was good.
It was sweet, and we had this nice space. We'd play. We had tons of chairs and shit for people to hang out in. We had my bedroom was right there.
We had like this like
backstage,
this bar that like doubled as like the lighting and like sound area.
Oh, it was sweet. And Paul would set up his like these bizarre contraptions and these switches that he made himself.
He'd like make them the night before a show.
Yeah, and we'd set up all these awesome lights and shit. We'd have this amazing light show.
But usually Paul would get so drunk by halfway through the show that like Josh or like Keith would have to end up like working the lights because Paul was just too drunk and like hitting on everyone's girlfriends and stuff. Yeah, the Backlund room was like...
That's where we'd hang out. It was like awesome.
I still think about the Backlund room to this day.
I miss it. It was one of the greatest places. It was this sort of weird cave area. But
and it was like all concrete and like the only thing in there was like a deep freeze, wasn't it?
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
There's this deep freeze. I don't want to get into what was in the deep freeze. Because things got put in the deep freeze.
Things that just shouldn't be mentioned ever.
Okay.
Ever.
I think
again.
Oops!
Fuck that piss.
I knew I'd drop a beer tonight.
Why do I always drop my beers with me?
So while we were being Dads with No Face and being totally awesome rock stars with all these like groupies and fans and wild booze-covered parties, we
just crazy booze, like Booze Fest 1912 too.
It was intense.
I forgot what year it was for a second there, so I made one up.
That's cool, 1912. Back in 1912. But then we did not stop with the movie making.
No, we were making movies.
We started with the Bobo series, which took up the next 10 years of our life.
Which was like, on like the scale of things that we had done, like making a Bobo movie was crazy because it wasn't just like in Blaise's backyard. It was like Paul would like drive us to Kananaskis to like film in the abandoned house, and we'd like have all these different locations, and like it was crazy. It was like, and we actually had like times when we were gonna like meet up and like
we got organized.
Yeah, it was almost like, you know, we knew what we were doing almost.
It was
It was like on a more grand scale than any movie we'd ever made before.
Fucking come on.
Making films back in those days with Blaise and Terry and Scott and everybody, you know, it was awesome. It was so much fun. You know, that's all we would do is just run around with the camera after school, you know, in between school, even during school. You know, it didn't matter. We always had a camera in our hands, and we were just, you know, every chance we got, we were doing something. We were filming something, and you know, it just never stopped.
Okay, that's good. Leave. Strip it on the floor. I got it. I gotta see this. I want to see this.
The movies just got better and better as it progressed.
This amazing battle of good versus evil.
When you think about it, Rolf is just a ridiculous name.
I know.
It's like a Muppet name.
Oh man.
We should have just called him Dr. Teeth.
Dr. Teeth versus Bobo.
Dr. Teeth in the Electric Mayhem versus Bobo Clown.
So part 1 was Rolf versus Bobo. Part 2, Bobo was dead at the end of part 1. So then we decided to add Satan into the mix.
Yeah, well, when you add Satan, all bets are off. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it just gets, things go haywire.
I think Satan had a lot to do with everything we were doing at that time.
It's true.
Like the music, the movies, like... We were still even making comic books a little bit, I think.
We weren't like Satan worshippers.
No.
But we thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, we liked Satan. He's like... He's the devil.
Everybody who stands in your way, who is connected with Ralph Thompson, must die!
At that time, when I accused you of worshipping Satan, and you said, I don't worship Satan, he worships me. I thought it was like the coolest thing.
And then part 3 comes along, and the characters of Chinka and Beefheart are created.
Oh.
And that adds sci-fi,
like just like film noir elements and like just craziness.
Beefheart and Chinka are I think personally the 2 greatest characters who have ever been created in the history of the universe.
Could be.
Like, and they to this day they're still. I try to include them in everything we do. I don't know why. I'm sick. They've been killed, murdered, dozens of times.
Well, fine, don't believe it then. Don't believe what I'm saying.
Hey. You're the one who wasn't killed. That's perhaps in me.
It makes me scared, insecure, totally insecure.
Who are you? No, man.
We had to have Osiris, like instead of having God, we had Osiris, right?
What's going on?
Don't be afraid, Wolf. It is I, Osiris.
Who? How come I can't see you?
Because you can't. I am a spirit.
A spirit?
Yes, Lord. A good spirit.
What do you want with me?
You are the one that Bobo Clown is after, and I am the one who is after Bobo the Clown.
Doesn't Bobo steal a scooter in that one?
We don't discuss that scene.
Making those films back in those days was sort of like a playground, you know. Those were the fun days of filmmaking, and it sort of prepares you for the stuff that you do afterwards, which is kind of the stuff that, you know, we're working on now. But because we had that, you know, that time, those few years of fun, you know, it kind of generates this discipline inside you after a couple of years, and so, you know, it's something that you have to kind of do and get out of your system before you can move on and do other stuff. So yeah, all of that stuff is just great.
Well, we've been on this case for about 4 or 5 years now, and it just seems like the closer we get, the more farther away we are from catching this maniac. It's like 1 step forward and 12 steps back. Like, we're at a loss. We just don't know what to do anymore.
Keith Krill was Bobo in part 4.
And bits of part 5, I wasn't Bobo either.
Well, I don't know what you were doing, but it was also really hard to sort of do Bobo and Chinka at the same time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I was off doing like just stupid things at the time too.
Okay, it was like sailing down the Nung River with Captain Willard in Apocalypse Now. You're sailing down the river, everything's fine, you're making Bobo movies, all of a sudden you reach Dolong Bridge. In other words, Bobo 5. And it was at that point we got off the fucking boat.
Bobo 5 probably shouldn't have happened in the first place. It's Bobo 4, we tied everything up very nicely. Like it says at the beginning of the movie, Satan loses, Osiris wins. But, you know, it's just so much fun making these movies that you just can't stop.
Okay, ready? Oh, go.
Really? How do you think we're supposed to do that?
That was a bit too snobby.
No.
Okay, once more.
That was a bit too small.
You again.
You're an agent of evil, Satan's little gopher, and that's all you'll ever be. So if it's a scepter you want, then come and get it. Take your best shot.
I've had so much fake rancid blood in my mouth for so many death scenes. I kind of miss getting murdered on film, really.
Okay,
Just rip it off.
Okay, well, okay.
Oh, off comes my nipple. Ah!
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Oh, God.
Look at
Can you
your
scream for the camera?
Wicked. Hi. Hi, Mom.